class with the round of introduction. Sorry, we run a little behind schedule. It's already 9:45. And if we start late, the rest of the schedule for the whole day for the pilot training gets affected. So we'll just try and go ahead with the schedule. We'll start with a quick round of introduction. We do not want anything extra. Your name and what's your role. If you're a pilot or if you're a cabin crew. No designation, no experience, just your name and your role that you play in the organization. We'll start with, Cabin crew, start with you. Yes.
Good morning everyone, I am Hiren Patel and I am a pilot.
Thank you.
Good morning everyone, my name is Lema and I'm a cabin crew.
Thank you.
Hi, good morning, Namaskar. Ishan Dave, pilot.
Thank you.
Good morning, I am Adarshana, pilot.
Good morning everyone, my name is Pankaj Guru, pilot.
Morning everyone, I'm Udita.
Thank you.
Good morning everyone, my name is Sushma and I'm a cabin crew. Good morning, my name is Nikita and I'm a pilot.
Good morning, my name is Dinesh and I'm a pilot.
Good morning ma'am, good morning everyone, my name is Sonali and I'm a cabin crew. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Vivan Chaluk.
You're a pilot.
Yes, ma'am.
You wanted me to ask to guess? Yes.
Good morning everyone, Vivek Creighton, pilot.
Thank you.
Good morning everyone. Prabhakar Rudrappa, pilot.
Thank you.
Good morning everyone, my name is Lisa D'Souza, I'm cabin crew. Hi, I'm Reshma. Good morning everyone, my name is Niru and I'm a cabin crew.
Niru. Yeah, thank you. Sorry, Neil? Thank you.
Good morning everyone, Rushin Bhatt, pilot.
Good morning everyone, my name is Stephanie, I'm a captain. Good morning everyone, my name is Umama, I'm a pilot.
Good morning everyone, my name is Varun, I'm pilot.
Okay, sorry, because you mentioned this, this is a module that we're running and then we're running so that we have the flow of the class. It's not to particularly pinpoint anyone from here, but it's just for the content of the module that we're recording. Is it okay with all of you?
Yes.
Right? We're not going to focus on you, we're mostly focused on me and the module, but yes, thank you, Captain Patel.
You will be recording the entire class for us.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Good morning everyone, myself Sachin, I'm a pilot.
Thank you.
Good morning everyone, I'm Surya Ramadana, I'm a captain.
Good morning, Nitin, pilot. Hi, good morning, Tushar, pilot.
So we also have a lot of CRM instructors for the legal sessions, if I may request to you also.
Hi, good morning, my name is Kanika, I'm a pilot.
Thank you.
Good morning everyone, Fahad Sheikh, CRM facilitator. Thank you.
Good morning everybody. Prabhu here and CRM facilitator.
Good morning everyone, my name is Gaurav Khurana, CRM facilitator.
Thank you. Done? I'm going to be a CRM instructor for the next 3 hours. Okay. Before we get into the session and the modules, quick guidelines. You're very familiar with this building, but I'm sure you're not familiar with the schedules yet. But the schedule for us is 3 hours. We'll have a 10 minutes break in between the session. We come back and then we'll continue, followed by evaluation for the pilots and the cabin crew. If you could, you can exit the class once the module is over. Okay. To minimize distraction, let's take like just 10 seconds to check our phone that if it's in silent mode, so that we can minimize distraction throughout the session. But we do understand emergencies can happen to anybody. If you have a call that you get to, please exit the class and you can take a call at any point. We did mix up the cabin crew and the pilots. A lot of you were reluctant, a lot of you were with great zeal and alacrity in your face. However, this is only so that the interaction can be fruitful throughout the session. So I request you please share any valuable inputs and examples with reference to the discussion of the topic that we have for today. Documents, competency card for all the cabin crew during the break, if you could give it to one of our CRM instructors about me. Oh, it's collected. Now we'll be giving it to a SAP instructor. They're going to endorse it. Please ensure that the correct entry is made, the validity is 2 years from now. Attendance sheet is taking the rounds. If there are any corrections, and if it is not as per your license, we will correct it and we'll give it to you during the break. We request you to kindly use blue pen to sign the attendance sheet by the end of the session. Feedback form is going to be displayed by the end of the session, and we request you, because that's a quality check for us, so please let us know how we can improve our sessions and how we can improve our modules, that we can make it relatable for all of you. Health and safety, there's only one exit in and one exit out. We've been surviving so far. So if there are no fire alarms today, there are no fire drills. So if it's an alarm, it's a real alarm. Please do exit the building from where you came. The module that we are going to be conducting today are from the following references. And yes, I do understand that there's going to be a lot of interaction, and if you feel that you want to go back and refer to the references, these are the references. These are mostly human factors, human behavioral psychology, ICA and ICA manuals. So if you want to get in touch with us at any point in time, we can give you the references. I know it sounds a little intimidating and it's like overwhelming. The topics for today is culture and power creation, behavior, human performance and limitation, fatigue and fatigue management, stress and stress management, and error management. Let's not get overwhelmed. We'll try and make it as interactive as we can. And this will only be possible when you interact with us. Okay. Alright, we do CRM every year, right? We come in for the joint CRM or the senior cabin to CRM, PIC upgrade many times. But for recurrent, we come every year. So what is CRM? Thank you. That was excellent. The full form of CRM is Crew Resource Management. Anybody else?
Basically utilizing all the resources available.
Wow, thank you.
Come up with the best possible outcome.
Outcome for?
Safety.
Thank you. Safety was like, that was excellent actually. That's an ICAO definition of CRM.
Oh.
Most of us relate to CRM, especially the pilots. Evaluation time. Ma'am, please do allow.
We are current.
So,
We are current with this year.
yes. But this is not CRM. Sadly.
That's super CR.
Okay. We do believe that great camaraderie is a night before in the layover, parting out, and tomorrow have a nice flight. But sadly,
That is not.
that's not CRM. Thank you so much. Such a great affirmation. Thank you. So, we'll watch a very small clip. I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with this clip. And let's see what CRM was. And is that CRM effective till today? We'll let the pilots and the cabin crew in the class answer that. Okay?
Son, put your hands on your head. I don't want to see you move before we get to 2,000 feet, or I'm going to blow your brains out.
Techniques like this may have served Cathay very well in the past, but if we are to successfully integrate the second officer into the operation, a more understanding, relaxed, and careful approach needs to be used.
Jesus Christ!
Is this CRM? My dear,
Pure.
pure CRM. No, I mean, like, for you to say.
Once upon a time.
Sorry?
CRM once upon a time.
Once upon a time. Then what is CRM? What is CRM? Thank you. Effective utilization of all the resources. And I mean, most of us get the, I mean, at least some of us get the definition right. But in real application, it's always lost, right? What is CRM? Because we ask you, what is CRM? We all have individual definition to what we perceive CRM as. Okay? Anybody? Any other thoughts other than what we've seen? Okay, let's find out what CRM is. If our role as pilots and cabin crew is to take the aircraft, very importantly, safely, efficiently, ICIEFFICIENT, sorry, when I come here everything goes off, efficiently, am I right?
Yeah.
Effective.
Now,
Effective. So our responsibility as a pilot and cabin crew is to take the flight safely, efficiently and effectively from point A to point B. What do you need to do that?
Sorry?
What do you need in order to take the aircraft safely, efficiently and effectively from point A to point B?
Teamwork.
Teamwork. Awesome. What else?
Good coordination.
Coordination, communication.
Good leadership.
Okay.
good understanding of your responsibilities.
And where is it laid down?
In RSO.
Cabin crew? Nothing. Yeah, I didn't know who to look at because nobody. What do we need?
Manuals.
Don't pressurize.
It's like that.
Full pressure. Yes. Of course, we need procedures, right? We need. Okay, so let's go to the age-old saying of to do any job, given the resources that we need the knowledge, the skill, and the attitude. Do we agree?
Yes.
All of us? Anything that you got to do, given the resources, given the tools that you require, we need the knowledge, the relevant knowledge, the skill, and the attitude. The wanting to take that aircraft from point A to point B also matters, right? So competency is always defined by K, S, N. For pilots and cabin crew, the competencies are very well defined. How many of you are aware of this? Pilots? I know 1, 2, 3 at least. Rest of you? No?
We are new.
To aviation? Or to
To
this
airline.
class? Or to me? Or to this? You're very new, is it? Okay, no problem, we are here. We'll see. So have you heard about the 9 pilot core competencies? Right?
The knowledge is of
Yes. Perfect. Cabin crew, if you've been with us with our CASA for the last 3 years, we've mentioned that in our initial classes. Have you heard about the cabin crew core competencies? No problem. That's why we do CRM every year, because we forget very fast. Is it? Okay, so K, S, and A is very clearly defined for us. Okay, and let's have a look at those core competencies, because if you do not know that, then the relevance of this class kind of goes away. I don't think it's going to be realistic for us to apply what CRM is and what we're doing today. These are the pilot core competencies, and you are right. It always starts with knowledge, right? Your flight path management or manual automation, procedures, PRO, workload management, situation awareness, problem solving and decision making, leadership, teamwork, and communication. So you all, though you are very new, you did give the very right points here. Right? So your K, S, and A is divided into tech and non-tech for the pilots. Are we familiar with this? The system sometimes is unfair, right? You've all been assessed with this throughout your training, but we don't know what we're being assessed on.
I think it just recently started, no? CBT, it just came in.
Yes. But it's been in the system for quite some time. And if you've flown like at least a decade back, your trainings were based on the competencies. Right? Okay? For the cabin crew, like the pilots, we also have core competencies defined for us by ICA. So ours is application of procedures and Procedures, application of policy. I was like procedures and procedures. Application of policies and procedures, passenger management, workload management, situation awareness and management of information, problem solving and decision making, leadership and teamwork, and communication. So even for us, it is tech and non-tech. Now for the pilots, it's very well defined. From 14, it's come down to 9, right? For cabin crew, we're still figuring the way out because the competencies for you in terms of your SCP, your DG, your AFSIC is all getting streamlined. But when it comes to you overall, this is what ICAO has defined for you. So in order for you to take the aircraft safely from point A to point B, you will need all of this.
You need what?
These competencies, right? You agree? Yeah. And for the pilots, you need this. Now, where does CRM come in this?
Everywhere.
Everywhere. Interesting.
Wherever
Take that photo.
Sorry?
It does come in because it is eventually a teamwork. The two of us are working together to achieve all of this.
Great.
I think wherever the 4 and 9 of these things merge together.
Very good. So see, I know why Captain Uttara is saying that it comes everywhere because tech without non-tech or non-tech without tech is impossible. But up till now, the picture of CRM has always been it's like a separate thing. But if you look into the 5 core competencies, 9 out of the 9, if you look into the 5 like workload management, situation awareness, problem solving and decision making, leadership and teamwork and communication, these are the non-techs. And this is where CRM comes in. The common misnomer of, oh, we've got to be the nice guy and I've got to be the yes man of what CRM is not. The non-technical competencies are your CRM competencies. Okay? Same. And if you will see that these competencies are not defined only for pilots and cabin crew. You go to a dispatcher, even for him the competencies are defined very well. And you will see most of the time the non-technical competencies are the same. Workload management, situation awareness, and management of information, problem solving, decision making, leadership and teamwork and communication. Whenever you use this is where CRM is being applied. Now, you will see in both the cases communication and leadership and teamwork is in circle because these are called the master competencies, and like you rightly said, your teamwork and communication ties up the rest of the competencies together. Okay? A little revision about what CRM is, and now let's move ahead with our first topic for the day, the most controversial topic, the most topic to be blamed for, that is culture. And as the name suggests, it comes off the cult, CULT. So whatever cult you believe in, that's what you will be practicing it. What's your thought about culture?
It comes from the background of
Who you are?
yes. That could be like religious, that could be your family culture, that could be your country culture.
Beliefs, country, family. Nobody said generation, I'm so surprised. Otherwise it's always generation. I can't deal with this generation.
Yes,
Gen Z.
generation the biggest
Gen Z.
one.
You're Gen Z.
No, I'm not.
Okay. You want to thank me. I'm generation alpha. I'm the youngest. Okay.
I mean, should we?
It's okay, ancient is also accepted. That's the whole point, right? The moment we talk about culture, we always go back to our roots, we go back to our backgrounds, we talk about belief systems, we talk about practices.
Ceasefire, guys.
Sorry?
Ceasefire between both of them for this class.
I'm sorry, I didn't get you, but it's really distracting, so if we can concentrate, because any distraction can lead to an extension of the session, which I'm sure nobody wants it, is it? Including me. Right? So, okay. So, culture is always related to who we are. But now, I just want to ask you another question. How is it related to you becoming a cabin crew or a pilot?
It's because multiple cultures are coming together, and if you really bring in a culture and you have different thought processes, it could create a conflict in teamwork.
Excellent.
So it.
And if procedures are there, why do we have conflict?
Sorry, why don't you?
Conflict if procedures are there.
Because we've been this culture for such a long time, it's not easy for us to get back to the history.
Interesting. So see, this is how controversial culture is. Culture supersedes procedure, huh? So you don't need these competencies to fly. You need only culture. Am I right? So please say, no.
Professionalism is something much higher, much above culture during our work, and what we see, like the seniors and all, we have that teamwork and all. 2, 3 out of 100 you will have everywhere.
2, 3 out of 100 culture.
No.
People.
Exception.
Examples, exceptions,
See,
cartoons.
we are all exceptions in our own way. It's just that it's very easy to identify in somebody else, but not in ourselves. Right? So we all are exceptions in our own way. That is what we want to debunk. And for instructors like us who've been doing this for the last 1 decade, we also thought that national culture does affect performance. National culture leads to accidents and incidents. But let me debunk some of the thought process that we would want to share. Culture is what you do when nobody is watching. And we are only worried about this culture. Right? Simple. How often do we say, oh my God, yeah, Kasaka culture? And then we make fun of those values. Employee centricity, most of it. Right? We're just 3 years into operations, not even 3 years, we're going to be 3 years, right? And we don't have our culture yet. But ICAO defines safety culture as what are you doing when nobody is watching? That eventually becomes the culture of the ICAO. We do have interesting view like we are multicultural, but we are one nationality.
Correct.
Yes, sir. Correct. Thank you.
Affirmations.
This affirmation, your affirmation is like, Roslyn, your ratification is to next level. I don't know if I'm doing the right thing, but you are making me feel that I'm doing the right thing. And thank you for that. Okay, see, ratification of the wrong things are not CRM. Now. You just debunk that. Not you, I'm telling.
No wrong things done by you.
Yeah. Okay, studies on culture, and this is some excerpts from the CAP 737. Various scientific studies have found a debatable correlation between personality factors and pilot performance, a culture difference and pilot performance. Now this is a global study. Okay. Whereas it's clear that accident rates vary among nations, particularly between developing and developed, it is not obvious to what extent these accident rates are influenced by cultural differences. And this is the key we want us to focus today. Our ideas and perception about how, yes, it affects us. Our upbringing affects us. We're not saying that. You know, the way we are brought up, where we belong, it affects the way we dress, the way we perceive our thoughts. However, when it comes to professional environment, culture is really notorious. And we can't define culture in any other way, but have to rely on the professional culture or the safety culture of the organization that needs to be set. There's one guy, his name is Hofstede, and he's discussed culture, and he's the only one who studied culture up till now. And he says it is notoriously difficult to define culture, because culture is nothing but a learned set of practices that you believe is true and you continue doing it. And that we don't have place here in aviation. Okay? It would perhaps be more realistic and useful to discuss the sort of common traits and behaviors that pilots and cabin crew perceive in others they work with and themselves, what effects and challenges this causes, and what can be done to manage these challenges effectively. Nothing is important but the way you behave, because that is what can be seen. And behavior is something that is a choice that we make. And that's why you will see that though we're from different parts of India, and I may be from the Northeast, and there might be somebody else who is from the Northeast, but my choice of behavior will be different from the choice of behavior of somebody else. And that's all that matters. So in today's session, we're going to focus on what we can control, what we can define, and what is realistic and relevant to our areas of work, and what will affect our performance, and that is behavior. What is behavior? Please speak to me.
How do you react to what
We
they say?
act or choose.
How
How do you respond? Yes.
Yeah. So when you act or choose to do,
You act or choose to behave.
as behavior.
Behavior. Anybody else?
How you deal with others.
Perfect. Yeah? I'm not nervous, but I'm just humming. Like,
It's
Right.
behavior, it keeps going in and out.
Great.
That is behavior.
That's the behavior.
Okay, so a lot of people ask, what is personality? How is it related to behavior? I want to start with a disclaimer that I'm not a psychiatrist. We are not psychologists. And if anybody is standing here and giving you again like a psychologist, tell them to stop doing that, because we're not certified counselors. We're only going to look into what is realistic study globally, and then how is it relevant to us individually and in the line of work that we are doing. Okay? So personality is set in any person by 7 years of age. Okay? And then, yeah, it's cemented.
Acha, oh,
Yeah, for you. Your personality trait. But the most powerful part is that you can choose to change it. And it is totally dependent on your behavior. You choose to behave a certain way, eventually it can change your personality. And that's how powerful behavior is. Okay? Having said that, there are 3 rules of behavior. Anybody, any idea? I'm not looking at some people. No? Or like Shashi Tharoor says, na, behavior begets behavior. Do you agree?
yes, that's 100%.
Yes? Let's imagine that we're driving. There's a person who's behind you, continuously honking. What do you do?
I let him go.
Let him go?
Yeah, go behind him.
I was sure that something of this is coming, and somebody's going to be there. That's so much fun, na? Right? You either, she's very nice, let him go. You will go behind him and then honk.
Most people have this knee-jerk reaction of just like abusing it.
Yes. So behavior breeds behavior. Somebody is acting very funny, you also tend to get influenced by it. What we're trying to say, the rule 1 is behavior begets behavior, behavior breeds behavior. Secondly, second rule is very important. Behavior is a choice. And this is fundamental. That's why you choose to let him go, you choose to abuse, you choose to go behind him and honk. And because of this rule, we've got to understand this fundamental truth that we cannot control anybody's behavior. What we are in control of is only my behavior. Do we all agree? Right? The third rule, thought. Thought plus the perceived benefit generates a behavior. This sounds a little confusing. In order to understand this better, we'll go to the next part of the module. And for all of our pilots who are seated behind, I'm really sorry, we'll reinforce this point with the PPT. And our team has really done a fantastic job in the PPT, so I think it's worth showing. Rule 1, behavior breeds behavior. Tit for tat. Behavior is a choice. Thought plus the perceived benefit generates a behavior. The third rule we'll understand when we look into the types of behavior. So let's go and discuss first the types of behavior. Up till now, is it okay?
Yes.
Are we good?
Yes.
The pace?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. human beings. Some way or the other, or from the moment we've gotten up this morning up till now, I'm sure we've chosen some kind of behavior. Can any of us define or categorize the types of behaviors if you've heard about it?
Very humble, very honest. We want to pass our.
You want to pass your paper. That is your, is that your behavior? Or is your intention? Huh?
Policy.
Policy. Behavior, like we all agreed, is an act, right? It's a projection of what you're feeling or what your thought process is at that point in time. Okay? Anybody heard about this term? Aggressive. Okay? Direct aggression.
Confront head on.
Yes. So that's what we want to. Let's kind of think about the person who is directly aggressive. What kind of behavior he'll project? Of course, somebody who will be loud. Do you agree?
Yes.
What else?
Angry all the time.
Angry? Yes.
Abusive.
Abusive?
Physical.
Physical? Ooh, this is like top of the class, man. Who was that? These are all the notes which we have in the trainer notes. Right. Is there a face to this?
Not yet.
Please don't share the names. We're staying away from that. Not yet? Very good.
Some of us are burning in our own guilt right now.
Sorry?
Some of us are burning in our own guilt right now.
And that only shows your introspection towards ourselves, right? And it's very easy for me to give gyan about standing here and direct aggression. And how often have I been this? I have. Transport didn't report on time. Flights were not booked. OL not booked. Rosters changed last minute. They goofed off with the timing. You have to come and wait. The performance exam didn't go as per what it had to be. I couldn't do CRM skills as I was doing the exams.
Performance exam and skills. CRM skills.
Okay, so loud, angry, abusive, physical, somebody who is always invading space. Right? Who is rude. Do we agree? Yeah? So direct aggression means this person is projecting this kind of a behavior. I'd like to add one more thing to this. What do you think is the thought of the person when they are generating or projecting this kind of a behavior in terms of I'm okay, you are not okay? So if I'm this person who's projecting loud, angry, abusive, threatening, I don't know, whatever I'm doing, what do you think is the thought in my head?
He is right all
Ego.
the time. He thinks he's right.
Yeah, I'm okay. And I'm doing this to you, not literally you. Because I don't think so you are okay. You see this? So we're trying to capture a thought of this person in terms of I'm okay, you're okay, or I'm okay, you're not okay. Please understand, this thought is of the person who's projecting this kind of a behavior. Are we there? Yes? So I'm loud, I'm angry, I'm heads on, like how you said, is because I think I'm okay and you are not okay. Right? Imagine if somebody comes and becomes abusive while you're driving, right? And then you see that he comes on head on and he's like, "Tune pehle ye start kiya to I'm also not okay. I'm also okay, you are not okay." So you come head on in this, right? So that's the thought we're talking about. And we're going to visit this thought. I'm okay, you are not okay. Okay? If we have direct aggression, what do you think the other behavior will be?
Passive aggression.
Passive aggression. So we'll put that as indirect aggression. Now, let's look at the thought of this person. This guy is I'm okay, you are not okay. This is again aggressive. What do you think is going to be the difference in the thought between direct and indirect?
Non-responsive.
Little louder, sorry, sir.
Non-responsive.
Non-responsive is a person who is going to be responding to you, right? But I'm talking about a person who's projecting a passive aggression.
Dismissive.
Interesting. We'll come to that, but that's a symptom. I'm talking about the thought. Will you be with I'm okay, you are not okay? Because it's aggressive, right?
Yeah.
How can it be different? It will be I'm okay, you are not okay. But because this is passive, he'll be I'm okay, you are not okay, but I'm not telling you.
Yeah.
You see that?
I don't find you important enough to.
Yeah, I'll dismiss you. Okay? So I'm okay. You are not okay, but I'm not telling you.
I thought this is not a psychology class.
It is behavioral psychology, but we are not psychologists. Okay? We're giving you. Bear with us. This will bear to what we're leading you to. Sorry?
It's a free shrink session.
I wish it was. It isn't. Trust me. Okay? Because you'll see me dodging a lot of questions after a certain point in time. We'll feel that you can open up and then we'll say that oh no, you can't. This is not. So that's why we're not trained. That's why we're not certified. Okay, now what do you think is the characteristic trait of this person? This guy, like how Sir rightly said, is going to give people silent treatment, you know. He's not okay, but he'll not show it. So what he'll do, he will hide behind humor. Anything else? Top of the class. Though you missed this module. You did it? Oh, yes. Of course, recently. Thank you. So no, we do have some LTCs and good TRIs, you know. So we had done this, so yeah. Sarcasm. Do we agree?
Yes.
What else?
Complacent.
Complacent is what? Is an attitude, you see. How does it project in a behavior? So sarcasm, and this person is always belittling others. You know? What else? Gossip.
Can you define belittling others? Because that sounds direct aggression also to me for some reason.
Very good. Interesting. Yes. That you're getting it, that means. It can be directly aggressive. How? If he projects it. You getting me?
Yes.
But the thought is so important here. Because this guy is not projecting it. Excellent. It can be this. That's why we're discussing the thoughts. Okay? Anything else? Gossip, belittling. What else? Sarcasm, hiding behind humor, dismissive. Somebody said this, sorry.
Yeah, I said that.
Ignorance.
Ignoring.
But ignorance is obvious.
Ignorance, nahi, but ignoring the person. Does that make sense? So we have given names to this kind of behavior, you know. Okay. If you are directly aggressive, the name is similar to the vehicle in the defense, which topples over everybody. What's the name of the vehicle? This huge vehicle.
Tank.
Have you been a tank? A small tank? Big tank?
Now we get it in an office in New York.
This is the person who's next to you in the office. So if somebody is projecting this kind of a behavior, that means it's directly aggressive. So the name for the direct aggression here we have is tank. What about indirect aggression? Again we go back to the defense. Who's this person who's hiding behind and shooting the target? Thank you. Are you a sniper? Okay. Now we go to third. Sorry, there are two more. Just bear with me. Okay. If somebody, and let me tell you this very honestly, by the way, 90% of the corporates. We'll come to that why we discuss this.
Aren't they indirect? Not direct.
Also.
But that is very less. The direct-
This one?
Yeah,
No, we'll talk about it. Why is it existing?
Maybe in Akash
You're right.
success.
We don't want to
She
put
gave
it.
the answer to that.
Maybe in the organization you are working, which is not Akasa. Okay, so if somebody is like this, right? So you're right, Captain Kushin. We'll come to that in how we differentiate that. Okay, you're right there. So direct aggression. If my boss is directly aggressive towards me, I need this job. I have no choice but to take it, right? What will be my response? What's the type of behavior I'll project?
Indirect aggression.
He'll fire me, man. I need this job.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Sorry.
you're
But you're not doing
Ignore.
that.
You're right.
Ignore.
Ignore. So see, there's a word. Submissive? Heard about this word?
Yes, sir. Sorry, sir. Thank you, sir.
The first thing that you will see that person is a yes man. What else? They're always apologizing. Thank you so much, that's true.
So pathological people pleaser.
Thank you.
I mean, those are like really big psychiatric
Okay,
words.
people pleaser.
People please. And you know, a lot of people tell us that. See, so this is not an act of submissive, by the way. People are really submissive because they have no choice.
They just don't talk. They're so hesitant.
Exactly. Hesitant.
Inhibitions, yes. So many inhibitions.
In a bit, yeah, that is true.
Yeah.
What will the other person think? What will my boss
Being a
think?
people pleaser,
Yeah,
you need to talk.
talk,
People
yeah.
who are submissive don't talk.
See, but you can please other people by not talking also. By saying, okay,
You are-
Rosalind, this is the new project. Rosalind, do this project. Yes. I just need to say yes.
Don't forget the Indian nod.
And then, again, will not go. Because that's again a perception. A perception. Right? Okay. Inhibition, they are always fearful.
Underconfident.
Yeah. And? Sorry?
He just said that he falls in all categories.
May have been.
It's
Because you're choosing-
It's circumstantial.
We'll come to that.
Pathological
okay.
submissive.
We'll come to that.
There's more.
Okay? So, underconfident, cannot make decisions. So, what is the thought of this person when they exhibit this kind of a behavior, trait? In the terms of I'm okay, you are not okay.
I'm not.
I'm not okay,
You are also.
you are okay. That's why they are underconfident, they are a people pleaser, they are a yes man, and they are really submissive. We are not putting an act here. Agreed? So, look into the thoughts. We've done the thoughts. I'm okay, you are not okay. I'm okay, you are not okay, but I'm not telling you. I'm not okay, you are okay. What do you think is going to be the fourth one? What do you say?
No one's okay.
No one's okay. That's the fifth possibility. And very few people get that.
I'm okay, you are okay.
Thank you. Please mind that I'm holding a green pen. Green denotes that's what we're supposed to be, right? So the fourth one is, thank you so much for getting that I'm not okay, you are not okay, because we are human beings and we're designed to fight or flight. So eventually we end up making a choice. One of the person makes a choice to be okay. It ends up in that, but that is the fifth possibility. The fourth one that we're talking about here is I'm okay, you are okay. How does this thought come to any human being?
Every person is right in their own respective ways.
Excellent.
Rationality.
Perception wise, you may be different, but still you are right.
Yeah.
It's not perception, it's more perspective.
Wow. But now to I'm going like pathological perception, perspective. Let's make it realistic.
I think only if you both agree, you will come to
Yes, you agree. And not always agree, Captain, if I may say. Because otherwise if you're always agreeing, the thought may be here. But if you are here, no, I'm okay, you are okay, your thought process stems out of respect for yourself and respect for others. Please don't ever forget this. Do not. It's not like, oh, I'm okay, you're okay, but I'm going to take your case. It's not an affirmation mantra that you say early in the morning to say, I'm okay, you're okay. It's literally a change in the thought process saying, I am this person, I respect myself, and I respect you, whosoever you are coming in from. Right? So this behavior is called assertive. I was expecting some reactions, but I didn't get. Because most of the time, assertive is confused as aggressive.
It's misconstrued.
Most of the time. The feelings need to be heard. An entitlement that I need to do this because I need to assert myself. And again, who's to be blamed in all of this is culture. But please understand that behavior across all cultures is a choice that you make to behave in a certain way. Does that make sense? Now let's identify some of the characteristic traits of a person who is assertive.
Confident. Calm. Composed.
Positive.
What is positive?
Attitude.
Attitude. Let's define positive because I don't want to write positive attitude just for the sake of it.
Assertive.
And all CRM class you only give positive attitude. You have to define positive attitude.
I think if you're assertive, you would try to show like some evidence or something.
How?
Like in our case, if we are out of our SOP, maybe show in the SOP it's written.
Yeah, so I mean you support it with a relevant example. See, the one thing is that this person is honest. The most commonly misconstrued thought process, the assertive guy is a nice guy, no. Okay? And this person, do you think he can say no?
Yes.
Do you think he'll be respectful?
Yes.
All the Akasa pillars come here, by the way. No. Pillars. Value system. Okay? Respect. Empathize. Understanding. Great. Empathy comes with understanding.
All the positive.
Alright. Now I want to ask you, I want to use this word compromise. Is an assertive person a person willing to compromise?
No, I don't think so. Depends. For the greater good, yes.
They won't compromise.
Exactly. No, we're not talking about compromise safety.
No, I mean.
Yeah, in a sense. That's the compromise safe. Compromise is, today I choose not to assert to this useless behavior. Because I choose to behave assertively. That is the concept what we're trying to say here. It is so assertive, that's why we really want to take this back home. And if you don't take anything out of this class, this is not. That's what. That's why the thought is important. If compromise can be used here as well, that's what Sir said, right? Belittling can be used here as well, but it's a thought. It's which thought are you doing it with? Please understand that we're human beings, we're not, if you can be a great actor, you say, you know what, my thought is okay, but I'm compromising, you might be being the biggest submissive. But if your thought is I'm okay and you are okay, in your body language, it leaks. And if it leaks, the other person will never find you unprofessional. Please remember this. Right? But if your thought is I'm not okay, you are okay, then you will be a compromising, submissive character. I have a question. The cabin crew, all of us here, okay, shouting the commands during an emergency. Emergency, emergency, release seatbelts, remove shoes, leave everything, come this way, jump, jump. At that point in time, is the cabin crew being assertive or aggressive? Why? Who said aggressive? Why? No, I do. Because
not everybody is going to like leave their bags or remove their shoes. So they have to be aggressive in telling them.
But we just defined aggressive, no?
It's actually scenario based. Now it's an emergency. If a certain procedure has to be followed in order to do that, they cannot be like positively telling them. And it's an emergency. You need to get.
Where is positive?
No, it's just because they will come across loud.
Yeah.
Thank you. Loud. You can be assertive in loud. What is the difference? It's the thought. I'm here to take care of your safety. You are a passenger. My interest for you is to be safe. That's the thought. I'm okay, you're okay. So this common misnomer, okay, that you need to be aggressive, in case of an emergency, you will end up that your team members or your passengers will not comply to you sometimes if you end up becoming aggressive.
I will give you one example of assertiveness.
Yes.
I was with Alliance Air,
Okay.
737-200.
Okay.
We were taking off from Calcutta to Guwahati.
Okay.
It was fog season. There is a ground fog phenomenon. And we had a lot of problem with the aircraft already. And the radio was done by another colleague. So he spoke to tower something and captain was foreign captain. We had a lot of problem with the aircraft. So he was busy, I was busy. And something happened and we were at the whole shot point. So we entered the runway, 199. And I looked left, right, and I saw two lights. So quickly I realized it's a wing light. So I had like, Captain, aircraft on fire. Literally. So he did not utter a second word or he did not fight back. Why I did this? And quickly he realized the situation. And we were out of the runway. So this is what assertiveness.
I agree. Because your thought was okay. Your thought was like, I've seen these two lights, this is an emergency, I need to save myself, I need to save my captain, and that's it.
Both aircraft could have collided.
Yes.
747, 500 people from the Hajj, and we were 3 people in the car. So this is what assertiveness.
Perfect. Because the thought is important. Sinking.
He did not tell me after that, oh, Captain,
आपने क्यों ऐसा किया वो बोलते
I was little, I mean, my
you were
pitch was
loud.
little high,
Yeah.
Pitch was little
But that's the whole point we're trying to discuss here.
My license is yours.
Okay, coming back to this discussion. Ma'am, thank you so much for bringing that point across. Because everybody thinks that aggression is getting the point. Please, there is benefit in being aggressive. We'll come to that. But do we really want to go that way?
No.
Let's talk about. Thank you so much. You are like all the class, man. You are like, without me telling you that we should not go there, you are saying we don't want to go. And that's next level. That's like next level. I mean, he's getting a little ahead of time. But let me quickly wind this up. Please understand that there are 4 or 5 choices, and the most important one we're trying to focus here is the thought. Thought. You can be loud. You can be compromising. You will shout, but you still not be aggressive because your thought is respect for me, respect for others, interest for me, and interest for others. If you stick to this, this is where we can be the most professional. And this we term as normal behavior.
Because the loud is not insulting someone.
Yes, but if you are insulting now, that person will know. You are there. If you've done it in the right thought, the person will. Now, we have a name for the submissive as well. Any idea what it could be? We have this no outside our house. We wipe our. Yes, sir. It is. I'm sorry, we are not using this term as per our whims and fancy. These are actually an excerpt from the book. And if you would like to go beyond and read, there's actually a book called I'm Okay, You're Okay. Yes. Okay. And the last one that we have is what we want to normalize, is assertive. And that's why we call this behavior normal behavior. Why does my thought need to change the moment somebody with a higher rank comes into my cockpit or my cabin?
Because of the experience doing it.
You can respect them. But why does my act change when there is a junior first officer who comes to me or a junior cabin crew who comes to me?
Cultural hierarchy.
And we'll get to this. No matter who comes to you, this is where your thought should be. Please remember, behavior breeds behavior. So when somebody comes with this way, you tend to go this way. Okay? Before we go there, let's see, is there any benefit in behaving direct aggressively? I told you 90% of the corporates are functioning of this because there must be some benefit. Yes?
Dominating behavior.
Yeah. So what is the benefit? Come on.
Get straight to the point.
Straight to the point. You can get straight to the point from here also, but your work gets done here.
Yeah.
Because nobody's asking any question.
You will suppress the opposition.
They are totally suppressing the opposition. I want this way.
To create pressure also.
Yeah, you create pressure, work may get done, right? The short-term benefit is there because nobody is going to ask you any question. उसने बोला करने का है कर रहा हूँ, right? The short-term benefit is always there, but what is the effect on you on the long term? Thank you.
Disgruntled.
Great. So there are three things that you have to consider. The short-term benefit is here, work gets done. The long-term effect on yourself is that you'll have aneurysm, high blood pressure. You may need therapy. If you continuously do this.
And friends.
Okay? Sorry?
And friends.
And friends, thank you. And that's what we're talking about next. People. You'll not be credible after a certain point in time. Nobody would want to work with you. Because you carry that reputation of this for being a long time. Short-term benefit, yes. Long-term effects, bad on self and on others and also on the job that you're going to be doing. People will very soon start reporting sick for you. Right? Let's be honest. Let's go to indirect aggression. Is there any benefit in behaving this way?
Yes. You can,
Why?
You can actually avoid quarrel. You can avoid the fight.
Sometimes not. Actually, you may avoiding the fight, but you are instigating somebody else to fight.
There are short-term.
But one-sided.
Yeah. So short-term benefit is they are gossiping. If my boss likes a good gossip, this guy will be promoted. Isn't it?
Yes.
We love gossip, no? I also love. But at the cost of somebody else going down. You climb up the corporate ladder. You become people's favorite. It's like that, no? In the class, there will be somebody who will be shooting at the instructor and the rest of them all laughing. The snipers. But eventually, what happens in the long term? The facade goes out. They'll find your true color. You'll maybe climb up the corporate ladder, but how high? You're going to be stuck at some point in time and you lose your credibility, especially Captain Patel rightly said, friends, people that you want to work with. I'm sure there is some benefit in this. Great benefit in submissive.
I'm not
Just
okay
avoiding
with-
conflict.
Avoid conflict, yes. You'll be the boss's favorite. Any new project comes will be given to you. But what is the long-term effect on you?
You'll become a punching bag.
Thank you.
Self-esteem issues.
Self-esteem issues. And you know, sadly, people who are submissive at work can end up becoming aggressive at home.
And suicide. You must be mine.
Again, I'm not with the romantic. But actually, no. We're talking about we're talking about a very professional general field. Those, you are right, but we'll not explore that purview here because we're not experts to handle it. But yes, that is how it stems from.
But I think you become suicidal.
Thank you. You'll become suicidal. So therapy, long term. Will you be considered for leadership role because you can't make decisions? Nobody's going to consider. You'll only just be a punching bag, like you rightly said. Make sense?
Yes.
So on self, not good. On other people, people don't want to work with you because you are a doormat, and your work may not get achieved. You will say yes and yes and yes and yes, but you will not be able to achieve your work. Right? Come, let's go to the last one, the assertive, the normal behavior. Is there any benefit in behaving this way?
You're calm.
You're calm and composed. Actually, it's very peaceful for you. Right? Will people want to work with you?
Yes.
Will your work get done?
Yes.
Do you need therapy after this?
No.
So is there any choice? If I'm getting all the benefits here, and there is no long-term effect, do you need to choose to behave this way?
No.
No. Here?
No.
Here?
No.
So there might be short-term benefits to this, long-term effect on you personally, on the people you work with, and the work that you want to achieve will never get done if you achieve this. So here, this is where we are making a stand as an organization today and saying this is the way to behave professionally. Because your thought, irrespective of who comes to you, will stem out of respect for self and respect for others. Now, where does power gradient stand in all of this is what we'll discuss after the break. We'll take a short break. What time? What time should they come back? 1 is I mean, for both of you, I think it's difficult to have a look at the board. Would you mind coming a little ahead? You want to sit here? 1:30. Because I think you really are finding it
But
difficult to
where?
see what is in the flip chart. We can get the chair here and we put it on.
It's not.
Sorry, what?
A lot of muscle knots on my head.
Because
Because of workout.
really, I'm not supposed to leave this.
If you overload it, then this chair is a little ugly.
Are you sure? Because so not many are going to be on that, but still. Okay. All right. Welcome back. Thank you so much for coming back on time. We'll quickly review what we've done up to now. We started with the rules of behavior. We said behavior breeds behavior. Right? Behavior is a choice. Now this is what we were talking about, the thought plus the perceived benefit generates a behavior. If you're choosing to behave in any of this, we saw that there are short-term benefits, but there are all long-term effects. So that's where we spoke about the thought plus the benefit generates a behavior. I know that a lot of pilots, all of our pilots are interacting with us, but cabin crew have been dreadfully silent.
Submissive.
What did he say?
I said submissive. I see what he's saying.
All of our cabin crew, do we agree on this? Do we not? You cannot agree. Absolutely fine.
Yes, something.
She's not saying anything because you are telling her to say so many things.
She's under direct aggression on that now.
Any thoughts on this? And I want to ask this to the cabinet, that's what I said. Are you being assertive when you're shouting out your emergency commands? Or are you being aggressive?
Assertive.
Do you believe that you should be assertive or you should be aggressive? Not the pilot's cabinet. Makes sense?
I have one very practical doubt.
Yes, please.
Captain is shouting on first stop with a tongue से land कर. So that is assertive or aggressive.
What's your thought? What's your thought?
नहीं मजाक कर रहे थे.
नहीं मजाक मत करो, thought हो.
इतना अच्छा thought है, go and land the aircraft tongue से.
Yes. If your thought is with respect, I think this is what it is, right? That's what I'm saying. Being nice is not being assertive. Please understand this. Being assertive is being professional, right? And the need to do our safety emergency procedures in a loud way is not to be aggressive. Please always do it with the right thought. I'm okay here. Make sense? Now we're saying that there is no benefit in behaving this way, and this is what we need to choose. Let's talk realistically. How easy is it to behave assertively in difficult situations? Okay? Will not leave you there. Let's see how easy is it to behave assertive in difficult situations. We'll do a graph, and I'm again asking the last. Can you see? This is the last question. I can't even make it up.
Burning calories.
Okay?
You can see right body.
What is this behavior?
That's
Indirect
what.
aggression.
That's what.
And what am I projecting? A big indirect aggression. Because I'm asking what is this behavior? You're projecting.
I thought not. We are not going to step into psychology.
Sorry?
I thought we were not going to step into psychology.
You are just drifting the class away to different directions. Alcoholic Anonymous, you said. What did you say?
That was comes out from
I thought to wing it.
See? What did you say?
I thought we are not psychologists.
Psychologist. No, you are all psychologists. I'm seeing that you are a biggest psychologist. No, I literally heard alcohol Anonymous. I was like, what the heck? We're not getting there. We're not there. We're coming back. Okay? Alright. So, let's try and see how easy is it to behave assertively in different scenarios. See, it's very easy for me to stand here and preach and tell you, choose, have the right thought. Okay? Is it always easy to be honest? No.
Yes.
Is it always easy to be empathetic? No. Why?
Because it hurts others.
Because we are human beings. It's simple as that. Whether it's others, we are humans. Right? And we do have emotions generating at all given points in time. Now, how easy, now let's give an example that you're going out for lunch and you're going out with all your friends that you know. Is that okay? Everybody? Just giving you an example. So you're going out for lunch and these are people that you have a very good relationship. They respect you, you respect them, you can say no, you can be honest. On a scale of 0 to 100, how easy is it for you to be assertive? 80. Perfect. Anybody else? Any other figure? 95. But you just hit he's hit it so.
What was the question?
How, with your friends, how easy it is to be assertive?
With people you
If you go
know
for a
and you
lunch-
have a very good dynamic with. It can be friends, even professionally. You know that you've never had a difficult dynamic with this person. It's very easy, no? You go out for lunch, you'll say, I'll have kebab, they'll say Chinese, I'll say no, I'll have kebab. I can say no. They're very easy. I'm giving you a simple example. In flight, you come, you have a crew where you're very comfortable with, you know that you can be honest. It's very easy.
Then you go for a drink. 100%.
Then you become 100%.
Like 5% is equated.
But you're actually right, as per research, as per the data, it's 95%. Now let's change the scenario a little bit. Okay? Now you're not with the people who you're most comfortable with. You've been invited for dinner by Mr. Dubey, Mr. Ghosh, Mr. Belson. How easy is it for you to be assertive? 5%. 5%. Thank you for being honest.
Honestly, 100%.
100%. Okay?
Yeah.
Anybody else? Is it going to be, are you going to be honest? You're going to be respectful?
Honestly speaking, I'll be assertive that I'm not coming for dinner.
Yes. Thank you so much. So most of the time you will report sick, but you have to come. Right? It's one of two silent parties, right? See, the whole point here is, realistically, if it is a scenario, they are not even bad. They're not even bad to you. This one scenario, you don't know them well. The relationship is not built. You've not spent enough time. And then there is an unnecessary gradient which is already created, of course, right? So, it's not always 5%. But now I want you to think about, forget them. I want you to think about the last flight that you had with somebody and the dynamics of that flight was not great. You were pushed. How easy is it for you to be confident, honest, empathetic?
I have no clue.
Not that.
Not
that.
It's not easy.
Oh, like that.
Again, worldwide, the data is close to 40%. So realistically, it's not easy to behave assertively, and especially with a person where you have a difficult dynamic.
I'm so secure that I forgot.
Right? So next time you're flying with that person, it's either report sick or it's either like, oh man, I'm going for a flight. But we don't have a choice, right? And every time we can't be
I knew he
reporting
was
sick.
under duress. I know he was someone
Is it?
with issue.
And all of you also said one very important thing. How do you get to this? We all agree that this is the most beneficial, and this technique is required. So there's a technique how to come to this.
I think you have to go through all the phases and then only you'll come.
Will it be too late?
But eventually it can be hit.
Behavior breeds behavior. Second rule, behavior is a choice.
Yes.
Your thought plus a perceived benefit will generate a behavior. So now you're going to go for a flight. It's not easy. But how about we tell you that we do have a technique that will help you to be assertive, and please don't get us wrong, it's not 95%, otherwise we'll be running some scam. We can help you raise it up to 30%, 70%. Would you like that technique?
Yes.
So you can take down my GPay number. Want to? No? Don't pay.
I don't used to.
See, the last time we did the course with the cabin crew safety instructors, they said they'd pay us in pounds. So it's been like ahead of that. Right? Okay. We all want free stuff, no?
Yeah, we love
We love. So, but we will give you a technique because we are telling you realistically, it's not easy to be assertive.
It's not easy to
Be assertive.
be assertive.
It's not easy to be assertive. Thank you so much. Please voice in. If I'm not clear, I'm not loud enough, please do let me know, because this we feel is an absolutely important. There's nothing new we are telling you here, is it? It's nothing new. We're not even going to give you like 3 mantras, do this and you achieve, I'm okay, you are okay.
I'm sorry, I
It's not
missed
a-
your last line. What did you say?
See, like which line was that?
Which line was that?
The first 20 minutes
So the point is like that this is a very important module. If you feel that it's not audible or if I'm too soft, I'm mincing words, please do let us know because we want this to be a takeaway. It's nothing new we're telling you, right? It's all simple behavior. We're only trying to make it introspective. Okay? Before we give you the technique, I quickly want to run with you the process of why people choose to behave in a certain way. Right? We saw all of this. Why is somebody choosing this, or this? Let's see what happens in your brain. Okay? So let me draw my version of the brain. This may not be your version. But yeah. Prefrontal cortex and all. Okay? So, as this is your brain, please bear with me. And as you sit here with a lot of experiences. And we're trying to, the green dots are pleasant experiences. But we also sit with some unpleasant ones. Experiences.
Yeah.
I don't know. Sadly, your pain has more effect on you.
Correct.
Actually, sadly. Right? So, these are your experiences that are in your head right now, and as you sit here. What do you think this generates? What do you think your experiences generates?
Connection between neurons.
Behavior,
Yeah.
stress,
Anxiety.
hmm?
Aggression.
Attitude, interesting.
Yes, attitude.
Aggressive, yes, come on. Ma'am?
confidence.
Confidence, okay, that is action, right? So behavior comes in that. Your experiences generates what? Huh?
Your perspective.
Very sad mood.
From the classroom. So, you had a difficult dynamic with one person. Suddenly, you see that person. What happens? You have a thought now?
Smack in
Do
the
you
gut.
agree?
Something hits your head.
Something hits you, right? So, this is how a behavior process works. You come in with your experience, past experience. Your past experiences, like ma'am rightly said, generates your thoughts. From the thoughts, now this is very quick. Absolutely quick. And most of the time we are controlled by this group. That's why we would directly aggressive. Okay? Feelings, then comes all of you, like you rightly said, the decision. Then you say, is there a benefit in behaving a certain way? Right? Then you behave. This behavior is perceived by the other person. They behave in a certain way, and that's how the cycle goes on. So you're just not behaving just like that. Something's happening. From your experiences, the thoughts are getting generated. So what happens, that's what I said, you have a different dynamic with somebody, you're going for a flight. Your thoughts get generated from those experiences. Now can we always control our past experiences?
No.
Right? What we are saying, you watch out your thoughts. We're saying that to you. We can't have any control over this. So in this entire process, when you're behaving, when can you make a break saying I'm okay, you're okay?
It's also the thoughts. It's thoughts.
Thank you. Any other thoughts other than the thoughts?
We learn from our experiences also.
Very good. We'll come to that.
And
That's
then
what I'm saying.
It's our maturity, how we.
Yes. It's your decision, by the way. So that's why behavior is it's your decision, it's your choice. let's please understand this well, because we are a joint session. We have experiences which we may not have control over, because that's an experience that you carry at that point in time. But from that generates the thoughts, and from thoughts generates the
Feelings.
emotions. Sorry, all okay? She's calling me. I'm getting distracted. I get distracted. The rest of them get distracted.
Why are you calling me?
Look up. See? Okay? So, your feelings is like the chicken or the egg, whichever comes fast. You're mostly controlled by feelings. Is there a benefit? We say. How is this benefiting anybody? A lot of people say we can make a break in the decision. Till the time you make a break, that's all what we care. But the most effective is the thought. For all the pilots here, I mean, till when can you do the go around? Any point. What's the last point that you do?
Before putting reversal.
What's the most effective stage to do a go around?
The
The earlier, the better.
The
So that is the relatable example for you as a pilot. The effectivity of changing the thought will make an impact. Because remember, behavior breeds behavior, and then this whole cycle continues. Okay. Any questions? Yeah, they didn't wait for that one. It's very practical. For the cabin crew, when can we last do passenger recovery? Till the end, you know? What was the most effective? Passenger service recovery. How do you do it?
Give free stuff. Give free things.
Not for you. You are not doing passenger service. Please, it's okay. Yes. Cabin crew? Oh, yeah. But what is the most effective? First, no? Just listen to them. Have you realized that? The first part is, if you only listen to them, the rest of the problem gets solved.
Yeah.
So when you're going and saying you are an idiot, you don't understand what I'm saying. Your thought has to be, I'm okay, you're okay. Because the moment you say, you know, we see cabin crew projecting an action like, hey, hello sir, you're not allowed to do that. Right? But we also have the same statement being said in the most assertive way, and the passenger is not going to feel bad at all.
Right.
Right? So your thought has to change at the earliest. Let's go to the technique that we've been talking about all this while, and this technique is called your rights. Yes, sir.
Like you have previous experience of previous aircraft, sometimes passengers start shouting without reason. That time I have seen that without being aggressive, things doesn't get sorted. Alliance, like previously, there was instances when there was delay.
Sorry, I'm laughing with you.
You are high there, you are like,
I'm in my head saying, okay, thank you so much for honestly sharing this. Because I mean, I think none of us are not privy to the latest unruly passenger cases that we did last year, right? So Captain is saying that the cabin crew sometimes are being blamed for no reason. So there's no other way but to be aggressive.
And because of delay or something else, whether in passengers start not shouting,
Yes.
so
let's
there
ask the
were
captain.
instances that we have to cover it up, we have to say that
Perfect.
if you are not, coming up,
But that is the right way to go about it. But let's ask the cabin crew. Cabin crew, do you think aggressive helps when a passenger is shouting at you?
The feelings are right there. There is no area.
You're mostly assertive. That is important.
Thoughts of feelings is not complete awareness.
It's just that I'm okay, you're okay. I'm here to do my job. Yeah, they're very sarcastic, right? But yeah, we are sarcastic. But where are we? We are in the indirect aggression.
Correct. But you come after feelings.
And we are all human beings. I'm supposed to be indirect
established
aggression.
because we
I'm
experiences.
but it's a thought that I'm keep changing that thought, right? We are all human
Yes.
beings.
So you
So
already have
aggression mode
Yes.
is going to be
hence
like
you have a
Feeling.
established
other airline passengers, they are like
which
muscling them down and also slapping
even
something.
when you work with
So aggression is not the way forward. Otherwise, we always remind our very professional and very professional campus. And we're there in TSC. Aggression escalates. And when escalation happens, then there's no control. So that's why, I mean, I know maybe they're trying to be assertive, but there is a common misnomer about aggressive, assertive is to be a little aggressive.
Yeah, it always comes to that.
So as I discuss this, let's see that we've realized that the change in the thoughts is the most important.
There is always a limit. This is happening. Like in India, you saw that passenger was complaining about the feedback after almost his last day.
Correct.
So that part of the clip didn't come to me. That part of the clip didn't come to you, but he was hit. But what is the pilot going to hit? They'll be hitting each other. Right, so the whole point to control is de-escalation. That's the procedure. As a cabin crew, no matter what you feel, and that's what you tend to do. And then the second point, what they do is they call the pilot and they take the help.
The practice changes the direction thought eventually.
No, it's not about stepping. See, we're not going to go into the details of this. This was the last year's module. So please follow the procedure of where you need to go, how which is very important. And that's where in your teamwork and leadership comes. Okay, coming back. Again, I'm saying and reinforcing that if I'm okay and you are okay is the thought that we need to have. We realize that it's not easy. Okay, and the technique is needed. So we're going to give you a handout, and the handout is the technique that will help you come back to the I am okay journey.
Have to read a handout? Right, I already have a thought.
No, but this is thought-provoking. This is
Thought-provoking. Fantastic.
Means for disclaimer, not a disclaimer, but a cautionary message. Okay, do you like to have rights? Do we all have rights? Okay, so there are 11 points. Just take one.
I have the right to be treated with respect.
Okay, so we'll do this together, okay?
I have the
I'm
right
going to do you have the right to be treated with respect?
Sure.
Do you have the right to ask for what I want or need? Do you have the right to your own personal feelings and to express them? Do you have the right to state my values, opinions, and ideas? You are you. We're not talking to anybody but you.
Acha, so everybody else too.
Okay? Do you have the right to make mistakes, be unaware or unskilled?
Yes.
I'm waiting for the pilot's response.
Yes.
Especially trainers. See, the point is you have the right. Now let's go down to the orange
I have
line.
the right to make mistakes.
Orange, very good. You have the right. Let's go to the orange line down there. I didn't want to jump in, but I want to say.
Sarcastic.
When taking up your rights, you will be held responsible for the consequences. The consequences are going to be there. You will still see people making errors, is it? They have the right, but there's going to be a consequence.
Yes.
So you have the right to make mistakes, and people do make mistakes.
Yes.
Do we agree?
Yes.
Yes? Alright. Do you have the right to change your mind?
Yes.
Do you have the right to refuse a request and say no without feeling guilty?
Yes.
We'll dig deeper in the second part in this. Do you have the right to ask for more information when you don't understand?
Yes. Right away. Excel at this.
Do you have the right to decline responsibility for other people's problem?
Yes. Arguable.
Yeah, because we want to take everybody's weight on our shoulder.
Well, everybody's.
It is Kanika's problem, but Kanika's problem is my problem.
I mean, I would say circumstantial.
You have the right not to take. See, you want to take, but your first officer, your pilot doesn't need to take your responsibility. It's his right.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Do you have the right to say and do things that are important to you? Yes, please.
Yes.
Okay. Do you have the right to decide? Everybody hesitates to do this, right? See, you have the right to go and talk to Mr. Dubey and Mr. Ghosh how to run the airline, right? Definitely you have the right. But what's the consequence? The road.
The what?
Door.
The door.
Right. But we have the right. We have the right to tell everything, whatever we want to do. Okay? Now, do you have the right to say and do things that are important to you? We did this. Do you have the right to decide not to assert yourself?
Yes.
All this ratification I was getting is gone now. You have the right not to decide not to assert yourself today. Like how Captain Lulita was saying, right? I choose not to assert myself. And I'll be assertive about safety, but I'm not going to assert about something.
If you think you have the right, everybody else to that.
No.
You have
That's
the
what I'm
right.
saying. You have the right not to assert. That's why you're saying now the common misnomer of assertive is like, oh, मुझे बोलना ही है ये, मुझे बोलना ही है. I will choose not to say it today if it is not affecting safety. Does that make sense? So that is the context of what we are trying to say. Okay, we'll change this exercise a little bit. We have the rights.
Yes.
Do we agree?
Yes.
All the cabin crew, you have to picture the pilot and the rest of the crew with you. All the pilots, you have to picture the cabin crew, the engineer, everybody, the crew you have to do. Does your crew have the right to be treated with respect?
Yes.
Does your crew have the right to ask for what they want or need?
Yes.
Do they have the right to their own personal feelings to express them?
Yes. Yes.
They have the right?
Yes, they do.
They have rights.
Who said no to that?
See, it's very sad. You have the right, but they don't have the right. This is. They have the right. See, you may not give them the right, but they have the right. Right? Do they have the right to state their values, opinions, and ideas?
Yes.
Do they have the right to make mistakes, be unaware or unskilled?
Yes.
Yes.
Of course they do.
Mistakes is this right? You guys are taking this too seriously. How many enhancement training do we have in our week? You know that?
Exactly.
All the pilots. How many enhancement training do we have, Captain? Captain Patel is right here.
Thank you. We'll call Miss Angela.
Right? So we are saying we don't have the right to be unaware or unskilled. We can't make mistakes. We have the right. Consequences are there. Please understand that. Okay? Okay. Do you have the right to change? Do they have the right to change their mind?
Yes.
But like, before you go ahead, it's not a right. It is unknowingly they're making mistakes, right? That's why it's a mistake.
But they have the right. That's what.
Yeah,
No.
I mean-
It's unknowingly they are making a mistake. That's what they are making it. That's why they have the right. No. You're getting me? Even if they make a violation, there's a consequence.
Yes, there is.
We are not asserting that power to them.
Choose to be
Let me tie the module up and then you'll understand how we're going through it. Okay? Where was I?
Next is I have the right
Change
to
your mind. Okay. Does your cabin crew, first officers, captains have the right to change their mind to not come for breakfast with you? Thank you. Do they have the right to refuse a request and so say no without feeling guilty?
Yes.
Or do they have to come along with you? No. In all layovers, cabin crew, all the rest of the crew? No. Do they have the right to decline responsibility for other people's problem?
Yes.
Today, you are not having a good day doesn't mean they need to have your problem, right?
Yeah.
You deal with your day. Right? Do they have the right to say and do things that are important to them?
Yes.
Okay. Do they have the right to decide not to assert themselves?
Yes.
Of course.
And please do not ever forget the orange line. Whenever they're taking up their rights, they will be held responsible for the consequences. Now let's understand the context of what this is. I spoke about this person who you are very different dynamic with. In the recent past, if you're flown with somebody that your dynamics were not really great in the flight deck or in the cabin, or between the flight deck and the cabin, we want you to replace the name of the person instead of I. And do that exercise quietly. Please do not say it out loud.
So much more.
Okay? Just try. Try. Just try. Take the name of that person in your head and try and write according them the rights. But you will have to be willing to accord the rights. Because remember, behavior is a choice. Okay?
We want to start flying first.
Because you have a person. Tell me.
Very well. How can you say that you're aggressive?
No, we want you to Otherwise, if you don't do it in the okay, if you don't listen, if you don't do it in the true sense, you don't understand the essence of it.
Tomorrow you are on stage like that was the safety as first officer. What were you doing there? Say, I have no right to assert myself.
Please. Sir,
But then play.
do the exercise.
Joke.
See, I'll tell you this one thing, that we are not here to deal with your traumas. You'll have to go to a therapist. We're talking about very general,
My God, my feelings are
professional
coming in between.
field where you're not supposed to work with a team and the team dynamics were compromised, and you did not feel okay at that point.
I have to decline responsibility.
Does it help? What changed? Changes something? It is not miraculously going to change the other person. Please remember that. It's only going to change your perspective, your thought.
You have the right to decide. Not to.
See, somebody, some people tell us like, hey, you know what, I couldn't go beyond the second one. Good. That's a good start. Because even if you give that person only one right, the person has to be treated, the person has the right to be treated with respect. You will see that your action will follow that. Does that make sense? So you're right, the generation and the history of how this came on is through traumas and domestic violence, and we're not getting there. We're using this as a technique that tomorrow I'm entering an area where the dynamic is really difficult. How can I go back to
Column 4.
because if somebody is this to me, behavior breeds behavior. I can very well go into that. If somebody is this to me, behavior breeds behavior. If somebody is this to me, I can be this. But behavior is a choice. And we've seen that there is benefit and no long-term effect in this. And the only way to come to this is to accord that person the right. And you will see, I cannot define what will happen. But if you even say, give yourself a thought, set a timer, and just say, this guy has the right to be treated with this. How often are our behaviors influenced by the other person's behavior, and our actions are based on the other person's act?
Yeah.
And this is where you make a break, say behavior is a choice. The other person is unprofessional, you accord him all the rights. Here we're not telling you to be nice, accord all the rights, he's not done his job, you nicely, honestly show him what is to be done. It only helps you to conduct your behavior in a profession. For you to accord this right to these people, you should know the rights. And that's why we've given this handout for you to keep it wherever you feel, and you can apply it to anything.
Someone will shout, I'll be
You have to give the rights. You cannot give him. In your head.
You will be aggressive.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He will be aggressive, you can't control his behavior. You can only control him. You have to read this to yourself, not him. Because he's chosen to be aggressive. But what will you choose to be aggressive? If you're giving the right to him, that's indirect aggression. Alright, so that is the technique. Let's finally go down to the last part to tie this module together. Okay. So, there's something called, whenever we are putting the I am okay, you are okay also, right? Again, I'm coming in the middle to go for the benefit of the last. There's something called situational behavior. I know this is a little thought-provoking, it's a little introspective. We're giving you like a little introspection maybe, and you must be thinking like, where are we heading with this? Just allow us some time and we'll let you know where you're going. This actually sums up the module. Somebody and everybody kept saying that behavior is situational. Okay?
I mean,
You're
not
right in
behavior,
that.
but some of these points.
Yeah. Behavior is situational, we all said that. You're right. But here we are only talking about the I am okay, you are okay. Is that okay?
Yes.
We are not talking about the aggressive, indirect, aggressive, submissive. Now here, whenever you are choosing to behave in the I am okay, you are okay assertively, you will always see that it depends upon the degree of relationship you have with that person and what do you want or need at that point in time. It's always based on this. And remember, in all of this, 1, 2, 3, 4, you are in the assertive zone. Okay?
I don't understand the meaning of that last sentence you said. What do you mean you're always in the assertive zone?
So, we have established so far that assertive is the way to behave.
Yes.
Because you have all the benefits, no side effects.
Yes.
So when you choose an assertive by giving the techniques, right, to the person or using the technique, this is how an assertive behavior is actually practiced.
Okay.
But you will see that even when you're assertive, that you're either reinforcing a relationship or reinforcing what you want to do. Does that make sense? Okay? So it depends upon who you are dealing with and the degree of relationship you have with that person. Right? This is considering low. For all of you behind there, can you see?
Yes.
Are you with us? Yes. Okay. And this is high. And very important, now we are human beings and we also have our needs. What I want to need at that point in time. I think Abhutta said, but I'm not willing to compromise on safety. That's my need at that point in time. Okay? What I want. Let's imagine that you are in a city, a lot of potholes, too many drainage work going on, and you have a very narrow street to pass through, right? You're dilly-dallying. There's another person who wants to come in. You have nothing urgent that is going on at this point in time, and you don't even know that person. There's only a very narrow lane, and only one person can pass at a time. What will you do?
Let them go.
Allow the person, no?
Yeah.
See, the person is, no, you don't know him. But what you want to do at that point in time also, it's nothing important. So, here, you avoid, right?
Yes.
You don't force your way out. It's like, please come. You'll give way. Same scenario. They'll say thank then now, same scenario, but now, in this quadrant, your in-laws were at home, so you're dilly-dallying. But here, somebody's in the hospital. You've got to get to the hospital. Again, you are in the same lane. What will you do?
Please let me.
Will request.
There will be no request.
Yeah. I got this force.
Force. In a sense, मतलब force करके नहीं चाहिए. Come on, you'll say like, hey, excuse me, I'm sorry, I'm really in a hurry, I need to get there. So you force your way. Because at this point in time, what you want or need is high. Remember, just because I use the word avoid doesn't mean that you are in a submissive. Just because you are forced doesn't mean that you are in aggressive. You are still in the I'm okay, you're okay zone, right? That's key. From the moment you get ready from home, what thoughts do you come in from? Transport didn't come on time. You had a fight with your husband, parent, whatever. You got pulled out last moment, the half an hour standbys. Everything influences your thoughts. Right? And of course, when you go there, and it's not easy to be in the I'm okay, you're okay. Your techniques help you to be in the I'm okay, you're okay. And sometimes you behave badly and you say, oh man, I'm not supposed to do that. Till the time you say that, that's more than enough. But when you're even in the assertive zone, it's always a bargain on the relationship for what you wanted. Now, your relationship is going high. You've been here for a intensive training. You go back home in the evening. You have nothing to do. Your spouse or your partner wants you to accompany them for a dinner with his or her friends. What will you do?
Yes.
You have nothing important to do. But your relationship is now higher. Huh? It's your spouse
no
or
option.
there's no option.
You're obligated.
No, I
All the
can't
options
call her.
inclusive, there's no option.
I always tell her to call a friend over home. I'm not going
To understand.
No, you are the most assertive, but you feel that you are a submissive. That's an act. Right? So here what do you do? Of course you go, right? Because you have nothing important to do. And then of course the relationship is high. So what do? We call this smoothing. So smoothing means you agree because you don't have anything important to do. So you compromise on whatever. It was a hard, intensive day, but I have nothing important to do. I might as well. But same scenario changes here. If you got your game going, your football, your IP, I don't know what, cricket,
Party.
you got your party or anything, and then your wife also wants you to accompany her with some shopping, I don't know.
Oh, there is nothing that can take
Still no
me.
option. Right. Now please understand when you are smoothing, don't go to the party and make a
Drama.
long face.
Yeah.
Then your spouse will say, why did you come with us? You should have stayed home. That's what we say in the assertive, no? I'm okay. You are in that place. Right? So this is a tricky scenario because what you want or need is also high and the relationship is also high. This is where you start the timer. give the rights. And you'll end up doing what you want to do, or you'll end up going with it. You see that?
You have the right to.
That's what we say. Whenever you are doing the I am okay, you are okay, and you're choosing, it's always based on the scale of the relationship and what you want to lead. You are either reinforcing a relationship or you are reinforcing what you want to lead. You see that? Now the question for me is, half the time we get so influenced by somebody who doesn't matter to us at all. In the things which doesn't matter, which is so petty.
Yes.
Our choices and our reactions are based on people. How can he behave? How can he not come studying? How can he be so low? How can he do this? How can he do that? It's all focused, but if you put this perspective, we are all in a certain zone. Now, for all our very valuable pilots and cabin crew, where does rostering stand in this?
I have the right to refuse the request and say no.
Yes.
Not eligible.
Not yeah. Yeah, I see that. You have to do this. See, next time the rostering call comes, he has the right to be treated with respect. Only do one. Sadly, for us as pilots and cabin crew, the rostering do play an important role.
Very.
They always won't have anybody to fly.
Exactly.
They'll always feel that the flight will get cancelled. Please. And you're only doing a favor to them, they'll never do a favor to you, at least not to me.
Absolutely.
Right? So they are somewhere here in the middle.
Even our class is now 9. They change classes.
No, but that was from your they wanted to go early and come later. That's it. So that's not rostering. You were not the Does this make sense? So you always say that whenever you are choosing the I'm okay, you're okay, and you're choosing to be a certain, it depends upon the relationship. You're either reinforcing a relationship or reinforcing a relationship. Okay? But you've got to give the rights. Every time I talk to rostering, I see that there is a common emotion. Please give them the rights. It will only help you be more at peace. Okay? Any questions? So, why did we do this? Why? How is it applicable to you?
And good start.
Good CRM for these rights.
So inculcate the change in thought process.
Good healthy environment of the.
To get better. This
What?
one helps you with.
See, whenever you're taking up your rights, you already are responsible for the consequences. So every time we do this module, people feel like, oh, be nice. No. I'm okay, you are okay, assertive behavior is not being nice. It's doing what you're supposed to do. First. Secondly, how many of us have heard this word power gradient?
Everybody.
And what is power gradient?
The authority one.
Do you know there's no word as power gradient? It's created by us, the aviation group. Do you know that? What's the definition of a power gradient? People with authority, what?
How do you exert that power on something?
Let's look at the CAP 77 Oxford definition of. By the way, it's not power gradient, it's called power distance index. It's actually a data study, a structure with different organizations, or with different. Power distance index is acceptance by less powerful members of the society of the amount of power held by higher group individuals. See this amazing, we've already put people on pedestals. And then society's acceptance and expectation of difference in power between group members. Okay? In other words, some societies are comfortable with large inequalities of power between individuals, whereas others are not. How did this come to the cockpit and to the cabin? And please, more than anybody else, I'm to be blamed. Because we put this fantastic picture of power gradient called optimum power gradient, where the word of gradient itself is you're creating an inequality. Right? In general, it is agreed that a commercial crew personalities should be emotionally stable. That's what we want. Okay? Non-impulsive, agreeable but assertive behavior. Now the cultural differences should be appreciated by all crew members and where possible substituted for a professional culture. I know we are opening a very controversial topic here, but what we want to reinforce today here is it doesn't matter what is the power distance in this. If all of us in a casa choose to be in this or make an attempt to make a change in the thought process, the culture that we are talking about all this while is the culture that we will try and achieve. And that's why we've introduced this topic to everybody this year. We're going to be running this topic for all. We were running this topic for the trainers. We're running this topic for all individuals, whether it's cabin crew and pilots who come to the training. Why are you so worried about which gradient to practice, where no matter who comes to you, you go with the thought process of management wherever you go. This will help you always to be on track. And please understand this, when this is not easy, it's continuous practice. So
Yes.
you may go out today, introspect on it and try and apply it. It will take you at least 5 to 6 months to apply and to try and make a switch from 0 to 20. The only thing that we've got to remember is true behavior breeds behavior and behavior is a choice. Please understand, if there is really a benefit in choosing to behave in a certain way, and if you want to live with those long-term effects, it's our job to tell you, this is the industry best practices, this is what research is finding. It's your choice. It's still your choice of how you choose to behave. But please understand, this famous word culture, the culture that we are trying to determine for our organization, for our cockpit, for our cabin, is going to be what you are doing when nobody is watching. We can be all interactive and introspective today, but if we go back and do not apply any of this, it makes no sense. Okay? Alright, any questions? Now we go to the next topic, human factors. Do we have time for another 7 minutes break? Sorry, we don't have.
What time do we get our lunch break?
Okay, so I just want to remind you by 12:30. By 12:30 we'll give you 12:25 we'll give you 5 minutes to order lunch. Because at 1 you have to take your lunch break, 1 to 1:30.
1 to
1:30.
and we'll continue to 12:25 now.
No, so we're saying that we'll take a small stretch break, but we cannot have like 10 minutes break because I'm not going to be able to finish. Just quick stretch break and we'll come back within 5 minutes.
What are the
Please come back 12.
is not matching with
Alright.
Spider-Man reflex.
The word which is used very commonly, what do you understand by human factors? How many CRM trainings you've done up till now?
I mean,
Actively or
the inadequacy.
Affect humans? What? Thoughts?
Behaviors.
behavior,
Behavior.
attitude,
Everything you said, whatever is right for CRM you said. It's very simple. Anything that affects a person's performance. And LMQ is the source of the definition. LMQ is a training provider for Airbus learning management qualities, for leadership training. So they define, and I think this is one of the most apt definitions that you can find existent right now globally. Anything that affects a human performance. Like that's what you all went on saying, thought, perception, behavior, action. So you will see that we've been repeating this again and again from the time you get ready till the time you enter the aircraft or the cockpit. There are various things that affects your responses, your reactions. Okay?
waffle maker.
Yes.
Making a waffle in the.
Waffle we have. Yeah, but I love waffles, but yeah, that's dangerous.
Waffle for your thoughts.
Thoughts. Okay, so why are we talking about human factors here? Because it's always tied down to your performance. And your performance can either be good, standard, or poor. Yes? Now we've also said anything that affects your performance is called human factors. Now let's see how does this affect our performance. Are we all familiar with this word threats, errors, underground aircraft? No?
Yes.
Yes? threat and error management. So do we all agree that as pilots and as cabin crew, we are on board to do threat and error management? If you put everything in perspective, right? We said our job is to take the aircraft safely, efficiently, and effectively from point A to point B. And in entire process, what we are doing is always threat and error management. Okay? Now, our performance is directly affected by 1, 2, 3, 4 factors. I'll simplify this. I know this gets a little complicated here. So, if there is a factor called a direct factor. A direct factor is the acts or omission that directly affect the performance. So omission is maybe a slip, a lapse, a mistake, or an error, right? Is always directly affected by either a decision, either the awareness at that point in time, either a distraction or concentration, or dexterity. Now when we talk about dexterity, we directly go to a tech. We directly go to a skill issue. So because this is a non-technical class, we're not going to focus on dexterity. Is that okay? Right? And now, all okay?
Yeah.
So these factors will directly, it is an act or an omission which has resulted in a good performance or a poor performance. And if it's a poor performance, it's either a failure in the decision or maybe a lack in awareness, or lack in, or maybe a distraction or a lack in concentration. Okay? I just want you to hold on to this for just 2 minutes. What I'm going to give you is a handout. Okay?
Thank you. Oh, these are the core competencies.
Everybody got it? Alright. In the beginning of the class, we started the class saying our job is to take the aircraft safely, efficiently, and effectively from point A to point B. We remember that?
Yes.
We said that we need the knowledge, the skill, and the right attitude to do that. Do we remember? Then we also said that this is very well defined for us. And that's where we said the pilot core competency. The handout that you have it in your hand is the pilot core competency. Now I've also given the same handout to the cabin crew. Why? It's because there are 9 core competencies, half of it is technical and the other half is non-technical. If you look at the handout that is given to you, we are only going to focus on the non-technical. So the non-technicals are decision making, situation awareness, problem solving decision making, communication, teamwork, and workload management. The rest we will not look at. Now, you will see that every competency has an objective. Did you see that? Let's look into situation awareness. All of us. Yeah? What's the objective?
Perceives, comprehends, and manages information.
Perceives, comprehends, and
Manages information, anticipates its effect
yes.
on the operation.
So if you will see the non-technical for the pilots and the cabin crew is absolutely the same. Is that okay? So if you see below the objective, there is something called OB1, OB2, OB3. A lot of the trainers here are familiar with this, but these OBs are nothing but observable behaviors. And can you start reading the OBs for only situation awareness? Let's not focus anywhere else. What's the OB1? Right. Second? Third?
Monitors and assesses the general environment as it may affect the operation.
Fourth?
Validates the accuracy of the information and checks for gross errors.
Fifth, if it is there?
Maintain awareness of people involved in or affected by the operation and their capacity to perform as expected.
For cabin crew also, management of the aircraft in a sense for them, for pilots it's a little technical, but for you also it's the same, right? The environment is the same. Now why did I give you this handout? Because without this, no, this is useless. Okay, this is useless. We said if we have to take the aircraft safely, efficiently, and effectively, the pilots need this. And whatever observable behavior is listed down in your handout that is given to you, those are the ideal performances that is expected out of any pilot or a captain. Do we all agree to that? Now, I'll bring you back to human factors. We said that if your performance is a poor or a standard or good, it depends upon any of these 4 factors. We looked into situation awareness, right? We said this, it's either, if, for example, if we say that the ideal performance is not achieved, right? If we say if it is a decision error, then which competency will you look at?
ESD?
Problem solving and decision making?
Yes.
What about awareness and memory?
Situation.
What about distraction or concentration?
Again, situational awareness.
Situational awareness? You are absolutely correct. That's great. Workload management.
Okay.
I'm going to give you an applause because this is the first time you're looking at a competency and I've given you a pilot core competency and then you actually said. So that's why we're saying this is not rocket science. Okay? If we have taken the aircraft efficiently, effectively and safely, that means we have achieved all of these OBs. This is not a checklist, but this is an ideal performance that is defined. Now you have become investigators. I told you, if I made an error in here, I'll go and see situational awareness. If it is an error here, you go and see, sorry, that is PhD, SH, SAW, this is WLM or SAW. Make sense, all of us? Now why am I telling you to go through that? Please don't worry, there's a reason behind why we do this, right? You will see that there are potential threats which are existing in our operations. And these threats or potential factors, which are called threats, are existing. They cannot be eliminated. Can we eliminate the design? Unless we design the Kanika, Roseland aircraft or the Boeing aircraft, right? Till then, we don't have a choice. Yes or no? Environmental, fatigue, visual illusions, right? Memory, time, ergonomic is the science of design. Organizational, commercial, automation, faulty equipment, system failures, psychological, negative attitudes, physiological, language, procedures, alert systems, emergencies, relationships, documentation, cultural or stress. These threats are existing. And what does it do? It affects your direct factor, which can lead to an excellent performance or can lead to a deterioration in performance. Okay? Bear with me. Some are relating, some are like, okay. Does that make sense? Okay? Now, please understand that threats, again reviewing this, every year we try and review this, threats come at us. It's not from us. But the very crucial fact that you have to understand about threat is it has the capacity to negatively influence your operation and can lead to an error. So what happens is these potential factors interact with the direct factors which can influence my performance. So it's not only lack of decision making or lack of situation awareness or a lack of workload management that will contribute to a performance which is good, standard or poor, but it is also the interactivity of those direct factors with the environment or the threats or the potential factors that will lead to an effect in the performance. What can we do about this as pilots and pilots? Threats are there, what can we do? Sorry? Following SOP. By following SOP, what are we doing? Great, that's very good. Mitigating, right? So what can we do is we can only expand our managing factors. Yes or no? We cannot eliminate them, but we can identify them and we can manage them. So managing factors are things that manage the effective of the potential factor and improve your direct factors. So that means I am identifying what my threats are. I also am identifying what the effect of my threats are. So as pilots, when do you do this?
Briefing.
What is the briefing for?
Joint.
Thank you. There's another briefing. So the pilots have something called the TPC briefing. It's called threat, plan, considerations. So they have for the benefit of the cabin crew. This is just for your knowledge that they look into the aerodromes, they look into the sectors, they look into the threats, and they do a briefing between themselves. For you also as a cabin crew, you can do this. You can instead of making your briefings just standard, you can make your briefings which is related to the sectors that you're flying, the weather type that you're going into. And you can change your briefing from heat stroke to heat exhaustion to the kind of profile of passengers that you're flying. Right? So this is what exactly they do inside the cockpit, and that's what you can do as well. So you look into the threats that you can incur, and then you can prepare yourself so that you can manage those threats. Alright? Yes? If you do not identify those threats, sometimes your errors are your threat induced. So it's very important for us to understand that these potential factors exist, we identify so that we'll be able to manage. Now, the managing factors is either macro or micro. We're going to look into two of those. Organizational wise also, like some of you very rightly said, SOPs is one of the key factor in managing your potential factors or managing or identifying the threats. Performance review, we just finished ours. Training, SOPs, checklist, review system, SMS, briefing, IT, tools, remember the word culture change, okay, and motivation. This is all what an organization is trying to do in order to help you manage, okay? But there is something that is individual, and this is for you. So we only can control what is ours in and around us, and those are our flights. So we need to expand our managing factors. Cognitive, problem solving, decision making, workload management, planning, concentration, monitoring, problem prevention, situation awareness, physio-technical fitness, knowledge, technical skills. We spoke for a lot about behavior, communication, teamwork, leadership, positive attitude, behavior, discipline, and stress management. Now, if you go back to your handout that we've given you just now, if you look into situation awareness, workload management, if you look at problem solving, decision making, you look at teamwork, leadership, right? You look at communication, you will see all of those are present here in the management factors, which are individual. And each management factors has an objective, which will help you enhance your performance. Yes, ma'am? What does it mean by cognitive? Okay, thank you. Anybody in the class? Because you blabbered so much about, it's not a psychobabble. What does cognition do? The cognitive part of your brain helps you in problem solving, it helps in hypothesizing, it helps in critical thinking, it helps in identifying errors. So anything that's got to do with some processing and thinking and critically analyzing anything falls under cognition.
Somebody said prefrontal cortex.
Yeah.
That's what's responsible for it.
Thank you for asking. Thank you. So mostly your error management, awareness, distraction, decision, all of this comes in your. And it's so risky, and I don't want to go into depth into that, is because your muscle memory, what we normally call, right, takes over, which is a part of your long-term memory.
Yeah.
Muscle doesn't have memory actually, it is procedural memory. But people say muscle memory because we are so used to doing this, so our cognition goes for a toss. So our cognitive is absolutely important in terms of hypothesizing and critical thinking. Anybody, if you can add anything to what I have to say? Okay. Make sense? Yes? So, if you look at your competencies, this is what exactly will help you enhance your performance. See, all these times we've only heard about words like situation awareness, right? Decision making. But what is actual situation awareness? What is problem solving and decision making? We've never looked into it. So today, in the next part, what we're going to be doing is we're going to identify some potential factors which have the capacity to affect my performance and look into how do we manage those. Is that okay? That's all that we are doing in CRM. And some of the potential factors that we've identified is fatigue, illness, psychological, I don't know how much will help, but will help. stress. Now this is a human performance limitation which has been identified for this year. But you will not believe in the last 2 years Akasa's had a lot of occurrences in terms of crew illness. And we're very happy to announce that we've got at least 45 reports from the pilots in the last 2 years. Fatigue reports. And odd, how many for cabin crew, Gaurav? We're not discussing. Three.
And how many more pilots? 45.
45. Okay. We're very happy to announce, but we also want to debunk some of our thought processes about fatigue and illness and stress and all. We're not stress gurus, but we'll help you to identify what it is. So this is what we're saying, that in this we're going to identify this and we're looking at managing factors. Is anybody aware of this I am safe checklist? Yes, sir.
You just order, it will take 40 minutes to come.
Yeah, this is the perfect time to order. Come on. You cannot take more than 3 minutes to order, no? Because I have to finish my class. All of you order or you go somewhere?
Nights are cooking and getting the chicken. But during the day, it's
What are you doing? You're bulking or cutting? Achha, like that. Yeah, it's
Okay, done everybody? Perfect. Alright, let's get back to this. Have you heard about this checklist? I know for the cabin crew, the cabin crew standards team had released this a couple of months ago. What is an I am safe checklist? First time? No problem. There's always a start. So we've not invented this wheel, we've reinvented it. We only put in the clock. So if you look into globally, we've got some of the regulatory bodies who've come up with this. FAB1, So if you see in every part of the world, they use this checklist, and this checklist was specially designed for the pilots. Now it is extended for the cabin. You do not do this checklist after you report for work. You do this checklist before you report. Great. Okay. So what does the I am safe checklist stand for? Is how often do we see whether the aircraft is all ready to go, all set to go, right? How often do we check that the cabin is ready to go? But how often do we do a check on ourselves that are you really safe to operate that aircraft?
Every day.
You must. You can't take care of others when you
So part of
are not
the
really
US flying.
60. I knew this was coming. But that's what I'm saying. Please take your sick leave. Okay? Please continue to write feedback about that. You shouldn't change. If you think that it's not enough, please do write. Yes. So if you look at this, we've chosen, and I'm going to say this out loud, not that none of us know it. We've chosen a career where it's 24/7 operation. Please understand this. Okay? Most of the time we are not at our home base. We are away from home. And it's very important that you take care of yourself. So the I am safe checklist allows you to introspect when are you really ready to operate that flight. Emotionally, physically, Mentally.
Everything.
Right. So the I stands for illness. Now I'm going to just only take like 2 minutes to explain this because this has been a rising issue, especially for Canada. We've got how many? 3, 4 back to back, 24, 20, 25. We've had 5 hours of delay, 3 hours of delay, 2 hours of delay because of sickness on board. And most of those sicknesses were because of indigestion. It was only indigestion and some people fainted and they puked. So this has been a cabin safety action code. They've actually told us that we can make people aware that it's a very crucial factor. If you are not keeping well, please understand that you can report sick. If you report sick, but you come for duty, and there have been instances where captain has not been able to report, continue with the flights, then it has led to operational delays. See, I'm not trying to sound commercial, but please understand that your actions have repercussions because you are sometimes that last line of defense. Your repercussions can lead to an operational repercussion. You're losing out on efficiency, you're also losing out on a lot of cost. The most important part is please take care of yourself. I have no idea that you have to take it.
But pay doesn't it affect?
Yeah, it does, buddy. It does. It does. They'll cancel it. So if you use your sick leave, then if you report sick, they would mark sick/PN. They would take it from your PN.
Yeah. So it goes to your EL. If you don't have your EL, it goes to your leave without pay. The concept, concern here is not really, if you are sick, you're sick. You report sick. You think that the procedure-wise, you think that the sick leaves are not enough, you must write. You must bring it. And then, of course, the question is how often you write. You write continuously till the time it's heard. And it comes to discussion. So here is to make an awareness that you can report. You feel. Please, if you are not well, do not come in.
By any chance, you or your team communicate with IOCC or rostering or something, or you have some interaction?
We do not. By the end of the session, there is a feedback form, and we have an extra thing called narrative comments. If you feel that you want to write anything specific, what we can do is we can forward it to the respective department. Make sense? Yes? Ma'am, please do not hesitate to write.
Because many of them avoid, taking sick leaves and they take medicine home because it goes leave without pay.
So this is very dangerous again. We all know over-the-counter drugs and the effects of medicine, right? Some of the times we feel that we can self-treat and we are only suppressing it. Fever, cold, pop up, go. This is not good. Okay, please, you have to take care of yourself. And most of the time now the the home bases are opening in Mumbai, Delhi, even for the cabin crew. But initially they were all here in Bangalore. So I know it's difficult to stay away from home to manage, but please understand that if you do not take care of yourself, then that's how it's going to be. It's going to be all irregular timings. Please take care of yourself first.
Yes.
Okay. I, illness, M, medication. Now we come to stress. What is stress? Many stress. So the moment we use this word men.
She said men.
Men are stressed?
Yeah.
Okay, men, okay, no problem. But the women are stressed.
Inclusion policy.
Feminism बोलते, मैं woman बोलता हूँ.
Okay, what is stress? I'm not going to go into details of it because we want to debunk one first thing. Stress is the body's non-specific response to demands placed upon it. These demands could be pleasant or unpleasant.
Okay,
Please understand
pleasant.
this. A lot of time people only think stress is pressure.
Okay.
But stress is your response to the pressure.
Yeah.
It can be pleasant and it can be unpleasant. Stress can develop when an individual's perceived ability to perform a given task does not meet the demand. A certain amount of stress is unavoidable and indeed in certain conditions it is also beneficial. That's why it is called eustress, no? The good stress. Preparing for a wedding, going for a vacation,
I hate all those.
examinations.
I hate all those.
Preparing for exams.
Huh?
Because what happens is
The
when you
moment
take that
responsibility
pressure,
on me, hate it.
it overpowers you, then anxiety takes over. but a certain amount of stress.
That is okay. I love
Yeah,
flying.
it's a driver.
Right. Now let's talk about a stressful scenario. Personally, it's impossible to live without any demand. There's always demands. We're living with it. We're managing it somehow, and how it works for us. Professionally, when does stress develop for pilots and cabin crew? Delays, weather,
Unanticipated future.
unanticipated threat, unanticipated or unidentified potential factors can lead to stress. But stress is all about your response. Please understand.
Yeah.
Okay? For cabin crew, when does stress develop? Unruly passenger. 90 SSR stress develops. What about giving 189 passengers SSR? Double stress. It's a special service.
Bangalore से मैंने कप्तान ने बोला खाना के लिए और कॉफी चाहिए। हो गया सर।
Just like it always
नहीं pre-book.
Slow चला रहा है।
when you pre-book that Goa ऊपर
Bombay अहमदाबाद में 90
less timing for Goa.
Okay? So please understand, the moment we say stress, it is always a negative thought process. Please understand, stress is not the pressure, but a non-specific demand that you have, a response towards the demand that you have on you. It can be physiological, it can be psychological, it can be long-term, it can be short-term, and it can be pleasant and it can be unpleasant. It's absolutely impossible to live without stress. The most important part is that you have to understand that stress and performance work together. A certain amount of stress actually heightens performance. But you know what happens?
No.
When that overpowers you, that's where you go, when you become overwhelmed. So please understand, your perceived response may not be your actual response.
Yeah.
Understand whether you'll be able to handle that. So if you go back to your competency, what do you think is going to get affected when you're going to be stressed? Again, let's only focus on situation awareness and problem solving decision.
Problem solving. Problem solving is most effective.
Workload management. So now today there are many, right? So we're going to only focus on problem solving and decision making and situation awareness. Let's look into the OBs that will get affected when you are stressed.
Problem solving.
In problem solving and decision making.
Oh, OBs, okay.
OBs.
Okay.
If you are stressed, what will you get affected? What will you not be able to do?
Identify and verify what and why things have gone wrong.
Yes. Your situation gets affected. How?
Because you lose track of
Yes, you lose track of things. Ma'am, you saying something?
Yes, and will not do the things in timely manner because
Absolutely.
it will be
Yes, yes. Because multiple things happening at the same time, it becomes an overload for you.
Adapts when faced with situation when no guidance or
You
procedure.
will not be able to adapt maybe, but you're supposed to be adapting.
Correct.
That's why stress is your response to the demand. Please. Anything here?
Demonstrates resilience when encountering unexpected events.
You may not be able to demonstrate
Yeah.
resilience. Okay. Ma'am? Situation awareness, will it get affected?
Oh,
when
plenty.
stress?
Tunnel vision.
Anything else? Reduce situation awareness. How? Can you pick up one OB?
response to individual.
Yeah. Your response to indication gets affected. Yes, ma'am? Preoccupation.
Your mind is free of the decision making.
So that's why we are only choosing
This
two
one develops
competencies and
effective
trying and checking out.
contingency
See,
plan based
we can
on-
talk about stress and stress management forever. Please understand its implication on your performance and your performance on competencies of situation awareness and problem solving and decision making. Will illness affect that?
Yes.
SAW and PhD is always there. Will medication affect that?
Yes.
Very much.
So meditation or medication?
Medication.
Of course.
How do we manage stress?
Meditation.
We'll ask you. Meditation.
Yeah.
If it works for you,
Being trying to better prepare.
prepared. Yes, thank you. That's excellent. Prepared for it.
Take a step back.
Anticipate. Do not be invulnerable. Some of the hazardous behavior here will never happen to me. I can manage stress. I've done this before. And it's only on that particular day it happens to you and you'll not be able to manage. Okay? Some of the points, please recognize the factors that is stressing you. Deal with those factors. Prioritize, use checklists, follow SOPs, manage your time, delegate, discuss, take a break. I think that's very important. Please don't take a break now because it might be stressing you. You just have to ask you for 20 minutes. Manage your time, delegate, discuss, take a break. Handover controls. Again, that's what it's in the cockpit. Even in the cabin, if it is an unruly passenger really acting crazy, if it's a passenger who's really upset, take over. Let somebody take over. That change always happens. You don't need to be there. See again, diet. I don't know what is be positive, but be positive. Do not procrastinate. Know your own limitations and practice. So this is an excerpt from again the CAP 727. We just said like, okay, see you can't be positive about stress. You have to be positive about the response of stress, right? So be positive. If you feel that you can do it, go ahead and do it. But if you think you can't, prioritize and hand over controls to someone else. I think it's the most important thing is to identify that I'm vulnerable to stress, and then identify it, and then take help. Okay? Don't be positive about unpleasant stress. Okay, fatigue. The flavor of the season, which is not so flavorful.
Do not procrastinate. It was showing.
Yes.
But how can that? Because it's like delaying. If I'm not well, it's better now. Delaying for 2 3
Very
days or
good. If
something.
you are not well,
Something.
okay, it depends on the task, right? It depends on the time of the delivery. It depends upon why you are doing what you're doing. But if there is a time that was given, like for example, this module was given to me 1 week back, but I procrastinated it, and last night I have to stay the whole night to finish it. That's stress.
Do not procrastinate.
But if you are unwell, it works otherwise. Might as well keep it aside, take a break. So you have to see, it depends upon which situation. Okay? What is fatigue? What you're facing right now? Oh, why? How? That's an interesting one because
We had exam at like 8 in the morning and we were waking up.
So fatigue and stress is similar?
Fatigue can lead to stress.
Stress leads to fatigue. But
Both ways, huh? Actually, yeah, stress can lead to fatigue.
Somebody said fatigue is tiredness.
I said
Cumulative tiredness.
standard from 8.
Okay. Although aviation accidents are rare and when they do occur, 80% are result of human error. We all know that. And out of this, 15 to 20% are result of fatigue. You know that?
fatigue, yes.
Fatigue has been associated with 250 fatalities in air carrier accidents in the last 16 years. So it is important that we identify that fatigue is a hazard.
Yes.
Now, what is fatigue? Let's look at the definition. I know it's a little long. We're coming to the end of the class. Let's have a look at this. Fatigue is a state of reduced mental or physical performance, capability resulting from sleep loss, extended wakefulness, circadian phase, and or workload. Please remember this. Mental or physical that can impair a person's alertness and ability to adequately perform safety-related operational duties. So it is absolutely crucial that we understand tiredness is not fatigue. It's not fatigue. This is the common misnomer. So I was talking about the SSR. A lot of our cabin crew have reported that I have to do 2 sectors, I have to do 3 sectors, right? And I have to give 90 SSR meals, so I am fatigued. Giving 90 SSR meal with a seating capacity of 182 is a normal job. It's not fatigue. If it is a sector which is falling in the circadian loop and it is affecting your rest and your sleep and it is continuous, that is fatigue.
Isn't fatigue cumulative? It has
It is.
to be over the time, right? It can't be for in the one flight. For example, let's say if I'm awake early in the morning, 2 in the morning for a flight, Srinagar flight, and I land and I do the fatigue report, that is not relevant. But if I'm doing it for continuous 7 days, and 7th day when I do the flight and I say that yes, now I'm fatigued, that might be more relevant. So
Relevant,
eventually, what I feel fatigue is a cumulative over the period of time.
And
Not
what you
one-
feel fatigue is may not be fatigue. That might be tiredness. Okay? And I want to do this that what causes only lack of sleep is the only causal factor of fatigue. Now please understand that the fatigue management guide starts the write-up saying, in a 24/7 operation, fatigue cannot be eliminated. It has to be managed. It has to be managed. And yes, it is cumulative.
What about alcohol and eating habits?
Alcohol and eating habits has correlation to fatigue in a sense. Firstly, alcohol affects your sleep activity.
Yes.
So the cycles of sleep get disrupted.
Yes.
In opposite of the common belief that alcohol gives you good sleep.
No, it doesn't.
That is the only correlation between alcohol and fatigue. Diet is what kind of food are you eating at what point in time can lead to that. Okay? Fatigue is only caused by lack of sleep.
Okay.
That's why your circadian rhythm, your wakefulness, all of this comes as a result. Okay. Can fatigue be eliminated?
No.
No. It needs to be managed. Who is responsible for managing fatigue?
You.
This is the first class who are saying this. Otherwise it will be like directly
Nostrum.
regulator. Okay, there are 3 stakeholders. Here, we don't have control of anybody else but ourselves. So we're going to focus on individuals. How can we manage fatigue? Making optimum use of off-duty periods to get adequate sleep. The word is sleep. You're not wasting time when you're sleeping. Okay? There's a lot of activity that's happening. Coming to work fit for duty, managing their own fatigue levels and reporting fatigue issues. These 2 are very important. Reporting. Now secondly, it's going to sound so cliched when I stand here and say please sleep. When we are saying in a 24/7 operation, when you're doing flights at different timing, it is difficult. So it's very important you understand that rest is not equal to sleep. When you're resting, you're reading a book, listening to music, watching TV. When you're sleeping, you're completely sleeping. Your mood, your memory, all of this is getting developed for the next day. Your muscles, your cells are getting developed. So that's why there's a difference between resting and sleeping. So as cabin crew, flight crew, what do? We will use some countermeasures which can help us. Okay? Adequate sleep whenever possible. But please understand that as per the scientific principle, we need to sleep every night as an adult for 8 to 9 hours. We don't have the liberty.
Yeah.
So that's why we've given you please tell your sleep environment. Sometimes you're landing up at 3, 12, 1. Create an environment such as because your eyes, your circadian rhythm, we all know, right? Right? Because our body responds to light.
Yes.
And your waking activities and sleeping activities are based on that.
Yes.
Napping before duty, this is for the cabin crew. They don't have a process for controlled rest. So for cabin crew, layovers, going for a whole night flight, please nap before duty. Right? It helps you, at least it's not curing fatigue by the way. It is only helping you be awake at critical phases. Use caffeine strategically. Now again, this is a little again. Whenever you use caffeine, there is a small chemical in your brain called adenosine. The adenosine masks sleepiness. When you take caffeine strategically, it stops it and it helps you be awake in critical phases. Again, bringing this point up in a joint CRM for the cabin crew and the pilots, please empathize with each other. Early morning flights. Why is this captain asking so many tea, coffee? Make tea, coffee and give. Ask them. This is why we use caffeine. But also on a Bombay Ahmedabad flight, you cannot have like 9 tea coffees. That is the other way around. Okay, so we've got to understand and empathize with each other. Right? So these are some of the things that you can be available to each other and help each other. Balanced diet, hydration. I think this is key. Hydration is a key for long flights. A rest break, very important. How can you do rest break? In flight, talk to each other, take a cabin round, come out, stretch for some time, wash your face, whatever helps. Okay? And control rest. For the pilots, we have control rest for flying time for more than 3 hours, 45 minutes.
3 hours.
3 hours.
Yeah.
Right? So the control rest, please remember when you come out of control rest, your control rest is for 45 minutes. And it is designed in a certain way because it is taken into account for your power naps. That is of 20 minutes and this time to go to sleep and you wake up. So you just don't take over controls immediately. Take some time, acclimatize and then only take over control because there have been incidents and occurrences if you take control when you are disoriented.
It's clearly written in the OM that 20 minutes recovery is required after 40 minutes of sleep.
We're very glad that you are reporting. This is the fatigue report form. You'll be put off the roster immediately. Your sick leave will not go. You'll be on a fatigue report of, okay? And of course,
Which particular thing?
Yeah, I think it is 60.
no, it's not 60. It's not 60. It's not 60.
We will analyze.
So this is the common thing that everybody had a question about. People don't know what happens when you report fatigue. Right? If you are in your base station, you will be immediately put off that flight. Okay? What will they do is, see, you intend to report fatigue, you can go online in the SMS 360 page. See, without reporting fatigue, don't expect them to take you off the flight. You have to file a fatigue report. Crew should notify the same as crew scheduling team. Crew will map as fatigue for a maximum of 25 to 24 hours, including a local line on receipt of fatigue report form, and we will be de-assigned from all the duties. So there's actually a special committee where a medical team is involved, the fleet is involved, a safety representative is involved, and your patterns for the last 168 hours or the last 7 days will be monitored, will be seen, and if there is any, please, we were very happy to hear this as well, that there were some sectors which were changed because of the reports our pilots are giving in and our cabin crew are giving in. So please continue to report. But before that, understand what fatigue is. Right? Because it's our individual responsibility also to manage. Then comes our famous alcohol. I can't say anything more than this. We are all adults. We know the repercussions of being positive. But please do not drink only to clear the BO. The repercussion of after effects of alcohol again affects your competency, your situation awareness. Emotions, eating. For the pilots, we have the emotional mental health class. We are not experts here about this. If you are going through something, Amaha, there's a peer support program for mental health for pilots. There are platforms where you can seek help. There are volunteers available for the cabin crew as well. First 5 sessions in Amaha is free. You can please get hold of something. Please do not. It's no longer a taboo. You can talk to somebody who you trust. If you want to seek professional help, you can seek this. That's why we're putting this up. So this is the I am safe checklist. Last, emotions / eating. This is very important.
You have enough fluid energy to last through the flight.
Alright, we've come to the end of the session. From the beginning up to the end, we did identify some of the factors that can affect our performance on board. Culture being one, behavior being one, the power distance index being one. We said what can we be in control of, what can we not be in control. We looked into human factors, we looked into potential threats, errors, right, and how it can lead to an occurrence or an accident or incident, and how our competencies are the countermeasures for threat. We saw that our managing factors, individually or organizationally, needs to expand in order to identify the threat or to trap the error, so that we do not end up in an undesired aircraft state or can land into an incident. These are your competencies that is in front of you, the OBs, which are ideal countermeasures to threat management. And in today's session, we focus into all of the non-technical competencies. So we would like to summarize saying that threat exists around us and it comes at us. Errors are made by us. Okay. Threats cannot be eliminated, but they can definitely be managed, identified, and mitigated. We've discussed some of the things. Being threat forward is prudent in order to manage threat. Threat and error management is not an independent subject, but a perspective towards all topics discussed here. Okay. Throughout this course, we have discussed various threats in different forms. Let's go back and review them from a threat forward point of view. Some of the threats that we discussed today, what are those? Thank you. Stress.
Sleep.
Alcohol. Sleep.
Medication.
Medication.
Basically, I am safe.
Is your behavior a threat to somebody else?
Yes.
Can be, right?
Yes.
You upholding saying my culture is this and I'm going to behave in this way might be a greatest threat. So you can be in control of your behavior. The primary purpose for CRM training is threat and error management. That's actually. How can we do this? Is by looking into the non-technical competencies. And today we mainly focused on problem solving and decision making and situational awareness. And when we discussed behavior, we discussed communication and teamwork and leadership. So those are the non-technical competencies which will help you in threat evaluation. That's all.
Thank you. Hey, good job on the new module.
Let's hope to see you next year. And any questions before we wrap this up? Really, Jam? Before that, this is a quality check for us. If there's anything that you would like to write, can you please write those in the narrative comments? If you see, if there's any way that we can improve our modules and our delivery, please do let us know. If you could take this moment, 2 minutes of your time to...
But saying that wasn't enough?
No.
No? Good job on the new module.
Sorry?
I said good job on the new module.
Thank you. So, I mean, it's mandatory for all to fill this feedback. And please understand this is anonymous. This is an anonymous feedback, so please give us real feedback.
Alcohol.
We made it intentional.